welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachel
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachel and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
Over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that?
Hey! Rach, who do you love?
HD Photo Hub.
Today's episode is brought to you by HD Photo Hub.
The platform real estate photographers trust.
And so do we, because Rach and I both use it on a daily basis.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out. Check it out.
So welcome back to the podcast. So if you didn't hear already, we did an episode all about walkthrough videos for real estate. So if you haven't checked that out, you're going to want to check it out after this one as well. This part, we're kind of diving specifically into the agents on camera piece, because you could totally do a walkthrough video without an agent on camera, but it's definitely going to be the next thing you want to add, because you want to market it to your agents that, hey, get your face on this video, because now you're not just marketing the house, you're marketing yourself to win more listings, and they're going to be very interested in that. And they already have heard 1,000 times they need to get their face on video. So they can't ignore it. So it's a good way to get them hooked into doing it, and a good way for you to start making more money. So Rach, where did you start? What was the first thing you did to get working with agents on camera?
Oh, geez, Louise. I don't remember. I know that I had a couple agents who were like, we want to be on camera. And they were one of my first ones. Here's the thing, guys. Okay. They all know they're supposed to be on camera. They've every like seminar they go to, every convention, they're saying, get on camera. This will help you build your personal brand. It builds trust with your audience. People feel like they know you without even meeting you. It breaks down barriers. There's so many benefits to being on camera. But here's the honest truth. These people are not actors. They don't know what they're doing. They are not trained. They're just told to do it, and they see what other people are doing and they replicate what other people are doing, which is, hi, I'm Sally Realtor from 123 Main Street Realty Group. And this is 5476 Rainy Day Lane or whatever, right? It's 3,000 square feet and 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, whatever. Anyways, it's like the most boring intro on the planet, and it's not going to stop the scroll. So it is our jobs as photographers to coach them through it, to learn ourselves and do the research on social media and start really digging deep into what is making you want to continue to watch a video, because those boring intros are not going to hold people's attention anymore. Like, they've seen it, it's been done. It's got to be something that they're not expecting. It's got to be something juicy that's going to make them want to continue to watch the video. So that's on us. So we're going to help you today navigate that, because this could be 3 podcast episodes just on agent intros. I feel like I gotta sell it, but we're going to make it kind of a quick one today. And we're just really going to dive into, how to get started with these, how to coach your clients through it, how to help them get comfortable, because it is terrifying. I remember the first time I got on camera, Neal, and they put the camera up to my face and just all the blood drained from my body. Like, legit, I was terrified. And I'm like, oh, why is this so scary? And then you just draw a blank. Like, you can't even think. So I always think back to when I first started doing video and how I felt when that camera came up to my face. So it is my job 100% to make them feel comfortable the best I can. And that a lot of that just comes with coaching them and preparing them for what to say. One of the biggest things that I tell them is, like, don't talk to the camera like it's a camera. Talk to the camera like it's a buyer. Like, you just met someone on the street and you want to tell them why they have to come see this property, what's unique about it. Like, don't give the basic info that they can find that on the MLS. They can figure that out so quickly. Tell them something that they don't already know. Like, is it in, a school district that's coveted? Is there a pool in the backyard that you can't see? Is it, move-in ready and it's been fully renovated from the top down? Like, what is it about this property that's unique? Like, what problem are you solving for the buyer? And once I ask them those questions, the wheels start turning and they're like, okay. And I tell them, like, hey, you don't need to introduce yourself. Your name's on your Instagram handle. or on your Facebook. They're going to know who you are. Nobody cares what brokerage you're with. The address is right there. We can figure that out. So let's just start with something great, instead of, hey, welcome to this house. Like, no, let's get right into it. Let's snag their attention. Let's create that curiosity to make them want to continue watching.
Yeah. And just know you're going to have an agent who shows up, they wrote their script and that's what they want to do and they're going to do it. All right. But yeah, definitely if we can coax them in the direction to talk about something more interesting, think about what are the most exciting things, what are the features that they think are the selling points for this house. Let's call it out right away. Let's get people hooked with that. And there's a whole lot here, because like Rachel's saying too about they're not this may be the first time they've ever done this, might be the 100th time they've done it, but if it is the first time they've done it, a lot of people are going to have that experience where they think that they saw every newscaster, they saw every actor their whole life and thought, I can do that, what's the big deal? And they've said this to me. Even people have said this to me, and as soon as they got in front of that camera, they went, sweat was dripping, and they're like, what just happened? Why am I freaking out? And it's just something about that camera in your face.
Yep.
So part of our job is alleviating that pressure however we can. I will tell them, don't panic. We can do this multiple takes. I always give them feedback. I'll let them watch it too, because a lot of times they won't understand until they see it. So I'll go, here, take
Mm.
a look. I'll say, I think that was really great, but it's just this one part I think we could work on where the way you said that just didn't sound natural. Let's just try it one more time. And as far as the talking, some people are going to have a tendency to talk like they are a newscaster all of a sudden. And it's a really fake sounding thing. Welcome to 24 Lane. It's like, oh, who are you talking to? Who are we talking? So yeah, tell them the
Do
camera
you
is your
talk like
friend. The
that in real
camera is
life?
your
No
client.
way.
I do. So, hello.
Neil's a
Yeah. So
newscaster.
that's what's going to happen. They're going to do that. And it just sounds fake. So yeah, I'll tell them, hey, you're talking to me. I'm right here. You don't need to yell at me. You don't need anything. You're just talking to me about what's so cool about this house. People will listen if you can do that. And it's going to take a couple takes. Don't worry. I just take that pressure off them. I'm like, you know what? You just saw that other agent you thought did so great at that. We filmed that one and that took 5 takes. That wasn't a one take. So don't worry. Like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, really? Okay. Cause I
Yeah,
think they,
I tell my agents, I say, honestly, on average, people do 15 takes. And they're like, that just kind of alleviates it. I had one guy
mhm.
I just shot about 2 weeks ago, and we did a 3-part intro, like 3 sentences, and I did a different camera setup for each one. He was, like, out in the driveway walking towards the
Mm,
camera,
mhm,
and then we did one of him walking up the sidewalk, and then we did one of him basically standing on the front porch, and he led me into the house. So it was, like, the changing of the camera angle and the shot setup also holds their attention if the scene's changing, so that's a good tip
mhm.
for you. But he took, 20 takes for each one. It was 40 minutes. So, one, make sure you schedule enough time. I usually schedule 20 minutes for the
Yeah.
intro. That's usually enough. But by the time you get them mic'd up, they figure out what they're gonna say. I'm just shocked at how many people literally have no idea what they're gonna say until they get there. So we are adding a new line item on HD Photo Hub. You can ask questions, and you can now ask questions specifically, like if they order an agent intro, it will pop up an extra question box down at the bottom that's specific to that service. So I can say, here's what we would like, what sells well on the internet, whatever. Here's an
Mhm,
idea, here's the outline. Make sure that you're solving whatever problem this house solves for your buyer. We want to talk about things that aren't so obvious. Like, do you have a script in mind, or would you like us to help you? And at that point, we're going to follow up with them. If they don't put anything in there, we're going to follow up before we get there with an email and say, hey, have you thought about what you're going to say? Because spending 40 minutes and having them writing it while you're there is ridiculous. Like, they should be ready to go. And they should have it practice.
oh, yeah.
Like, practice in the mirror. I always tell them too, I'm like, practice in the mirror, say it out loud, do it in the car ride on
Mhm.
the way there. Like, the more times that you say it, the better you're gonna do. Like, practice really does make perfect
Yeah.
with being on camera. So
Yeah, and
that's
I
gonna
tell them
be a game
too,
changer, I think, for us, getting people comfortable. And I think that extra coaching will go a long ways too with our clients, and feeling like we are really their partner and here to help them, not just here to film them.
and if it's their first video, they don't have to go complicated. It's the old same thing as last video. We talked about KISS, keep it simple, stupid. If our goal is to get your face on camera for this listing, all we need is a quick intro. That's it.
It doesn't have
All
to
we
be
really
more than
need
a
is
sentence or 2,
one.
right?
If you're having a hard time, you don't need a script to tell us everything about the house. I always say this, I'm going to show it. They're going to see with the camera. So we don't have to say there's 20 windows, there's 10 doors. Like, they're going to see it. You don't have to explain every single thing. Really, just a couple points about what's really cool about the house. and you're good. So if you just start there, that takes the pressure off too. Why don't you just say a quick line about, there's a great guy on social media that comes up with some cool creative lines about houses. And there was one line like, at Cedar Point, there are only 40 houses on this beautiful lake. And out of those 40, only one of them is for sale. And this is it. Right. And it's like,
That's
oh,
great.
yeah, that's the intro.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
that's
give them
fantastic.
something like, give them something to go with, exciting like that. And yeah, but you don't have to overcomplicate. They don't tell us everything about it. The other thing I also tell them that they don't understand the process sometimes is, takes the pressure off them, is I say, we're not going to show you the whole time, is the other thing. It's boring if I just stare at you. Whatever this intro line is, most of the time I'm showing you for a second or two, and then I'm cutting to another shot of the house and then back to you maybe once or twice. And they're like, oh, and that takes the pressure off them too, that like they're not going to be just stared at the whole time. So, and it keeps the interest up too. If we have that one static shot, if you did a static shot, well, you might not, you might do a moving shot like Rachel said, and that helps. But let's say it was a static shot, start there. At least you've got a shot, right? But if we just showed them for 10 seconds straight, we're bored. So if they're going to talk for 10 seconds, that's fine, but we're going to show the house during that the rest of the time. The other thing is, I'll tell them, if they're having a hard time on camera, we can always do voiceover. If they had more they wanted to say, they don't have to be on camera. We just need to establish them on camera for one shot. The rest is just them talking into the mic, and we're showing the house. And
Mhm.
that takes
Yeah,
a lot of
so
pressure
you're
off too.
different. Your model is different than mine because I don't
That's true. You
have
can't
I
do
mean,
that.
we
Yeah.
could do that. We could do that. It would just require notes to the editor, and we just don't do that. So I tell them, "You need to nail it in one take." Like, I'm kinda
Mm.
hardcore. I have pieced it together for people that are really struggling. Like, I'll take it into CapCut and cut it down and make it all fit together. But if they can nail it in one take, like, that's what I want, and I just tack it on the beginning of the video. Sometimes they do an outro, and I'll tack that on the end of the video. So they have an intro, outro kinda thing, which we don't charge extra for that. It's just, if that's what you wanna do, we can totally do that. But the full
But you don't do a
walkthrough, like,
full
no,
voiceover ever. Yeah.
mm-mm,
Because if you
no.
did the way, and if you hadn't listened to the previous episode, go back to that one, check it out. But she talks about how she lines up the shots for her editors so they know exactly how to piece it together. Whereas my editor is a little more customizable. He knows what to do. He'll match up the voiceover to the shots that they're talking about, because I don't have as many videos to do. If I had as many as Rachel to do every day, that would be too much. So yeah,
Yeah, we're
keep
just
that in
trying to
mind. Or if
streamline
you're
and make
doing
it
it
all easy.
yourself, if you're editing yourself, you can do whatever you want. But if you're
Yeah.
having to outsource it, you're going to have to streamline things to make it simpler and faster and more affordable to be edited. So,
Totally. Yeah. And we'll add a gear list for you guys. I use the DJI mics. It's like a little two pack that comes in a little travel case with an adapter that can plug into your phone. The two mics are great. You literally just open the case. The case charges the mics, so they're always charged up. You open the case, plug it into your phone, clip it on their shirt. You can buy a lav if you want to get fancy, which I use because I don't like the big bulky DJI thing on their shirt. But sometimes I forget, and that works just fine, or have them hold it like a microphone. But that kit I think is 250, but it's worth its weight in gold. I've had multiple microphones that I've used. Some of them just don't record, or they don't connect, or they're just a pain. They don't sound good. So if you're going to do this, it's
mhm.
your business, it's your reputation. I would just suggest going with the DJI mics because they are.
And a mic is really important too, because a lot of
Mhm.
scenarios, there's going to be noisy environments you can't control. And having that mic close to their voice is what's going to make the difference. That's going to be way louder than, say, some cars going by, or somebody 2 yards over doing mowing the lawn that you can't wait an hour to
Yeah,
film, or whatever the case might be. It's going to sound better if they turn their head one way and still keep talking. You're still going to hear them, instead of, if you had it on only on camera, you might struggle with some problems there. So it is recommended, if you're just getting started, all you got is an on-camera mic, then just make sure you're close enough to get the good audio that you need from them. But eventually it's going to help you to have some kind of lapel mic. And right now, I actually just ordered the DJI wireless, from only because of feedback from a couple clients that they used it with, when I was away on vacation, they had to use somebody else. And they're like, oh, the one thing I did like was, I like their wireless mic, because the system I use is a wired mic from a pack, and I have to always like wire it up under their shirt or something like that. And it's a little bit of a hassle depending what they're wearing. And I've always avoided them because, you can see that clip. If you don't use the additional lapel mic that Rachel just mentioned, you clip it on a shirt and you see it. And I've always not liked that aesthetically, but the agent was like, I don't care. I prefer to see that and just do it faster. I was like, okay,
Mm,
well, then maybe
interesting.
we'll go that route. But right now, what I currently use is Tascam DR10L, which is a small battery pack. A lot of wedding videographers use them because they're very reliable, is the thing I love about them. It's got a wired mic from the pack. So I usually put that in there, if they have a coat, put it in a lapel pocket, wire the mic up under their shirt. But you need a few tricks. That would be a whole nother YouTube video to show you the tricks to wiring that mic to hide a lapel mic. So if you don't want to get that complicated, these DJI mics, just clip them onto their shirt, clip them on wherever to a collar or something. You're going to see it, but it's a real estate walkthrough video. It's not like we're doing a actual, movie here. So it's okay, and you get the more important thing is that we hear them clearly is going to be way more important than seeing that little thing. So,
Exactly. 100%.
yeah. Yeah. And I think I just ordered it. So there's different kits, but there's a receiver that goes on your camera. So the audio goes into your camera. And the one I
Mhm.
got came with 2 mics. So
Mhm.
sometimes I have teams that work together. And so I need to mic
Mhm.
both of them. So I got that kit that had the 2 mics as well, instead of just one. So that was $350 that I just ordered, the DJI 2.
No,
What is something 2.
I have 2, and I think it was 250. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll add the link
Just got
below.
through Best
Maybe we
Buy.
got
Yeah.
different ones. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we can
Oh,
add that below for sure. I've used my mic too for my own, like my Tip Tuesday. I hold the little mic in my hand when I record. So when you're making your own videos, it's nice to have clear, good audio. So it's definitely a good investment to have for sure. What else can we talk about,
yeah.
Neil? What are some other things that could help them getting agents on camera? It is
Well,
a good
I
way
think
to let them know that you're a brand builder, like you're helping them build their brand.
yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of takes you up a level, which is great.
Totally. Yeah.
Broadens what you can
Um,
do.
yeah, it shows them that you actually care, and I tell them, yeah, if they ask, I say, honestly, yeah, you should be in your videos. Like, if they want a video, I'll ask them, do
Mhm.
you want to be in it? I do recommend that you're in it just because it'll help you to market yourself to get more listings. So they're not because I want the additional money. I do, but I want them to know that's a big reason why I genuinely want them to do well. And I know that they should be doing this and they know they should be doing it, but it will help them to grow. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I would say the other thing is that I need to focus on more now. I've done a little here and there, but not consistently, is I need to start educating them with some pointers and tips to help them getting on camera. Like you said, they should be practicing. I think they can just show up and do it. But a lot of times that's not the case. When they get there, they realize, oh, this is harder than I thought. So they should be practicing in front of a mirror. They should be recording themselves with their own phone just to hear what they sound like when they talk, so that they do talk natural. Because until you
Mhm.
actually hear it, you might be surprised what you see. You're like, oh, why am I talking weird? What am I doing? Like, to work on it. So I think some tips, it might be helpful to do some tips and pointers for your clients on social media. And that might be a good way to advertise for it as well. So I think it's probably important that we start doing on my team, we start doing some more of that as well too. And
At
then,
PMRE last year, Cody Boone spoke. He works for Ryan Serhant, and
mm,
well, he did. Now he's independent doing some other stuff. But anyways, he told us they did a huge study on like 500 videos. And they
mm,
found that videos that have an agent in the first 5 to 10 seconds got like 10 times more views than
mm,
videos with pretty drone shots and like, you know, a house for the front shot. So you can use that too when you're talking to your clients. Just say, hey, videos that have you in it will get 10 times more engagement and likes and stuff. It's going to do way better. So, and the point
yeah,
of them selling the house is that they're getting it in front of as many people as possible. So why wouldn't they want to do this for their clients? And it's something that they can tell their clients when they're in a listing and presentation. Just say, "Hey, I'm going to get
exactly.
on camera for you and I'm going to talk about this and this gets 10 times the amount of views." You can say 5 to 10 times the amount of views so that you're
You could say 50 times.
You can say whatever you want, really, but
Who really
the study
knows? I mean,
was
we could make up
yeah,
whatever number.
I know, right, right. But the point is
But
it's
it's
going to
true.
help them get
People,
more listings. Yeah. So,
yeah, people like
it's
people. Just think, when you're scrolling through, if you
yeah,
see an agent in front, you're way more likely to watch for a few seconds for sure. So,
for
and then
sure.
another thing I would think that you might want to just consider too is looking into some simple, like Rachel's talking about, some different simple shots you can do with the agents. Some agents are more comfortable sitting. Some agents are more comfortable standing. Some agents are more comfortable moving, like
Mhm.
walking towards you. They like totally change their demeanor when they have something to do because they feel frozen like a robot. As soon as you say like, okay, you know what? I'm going to back up. You just walk towards me for this shot while you say your line. All of a sudden they're great. So you might want to practice some of those movement skills for yourself, whether you're going to move or they're going to move, and have some variety for that. Some fun shots that you can do are like walking through a kitchen with, you're walking backwards and the agent's walking towards you is a really nice. It's pretty easy to do so long as you don't trip over something. It
Yeah,
adds,
little.
more dimension, a little another layer to it.
Lighting is
Okay.
another thing that you wanna think about when you're making these agent intros, especially if you're gonna film inside. So, it's always nice
Mm,
to just bring a little softbox with you in case they wanna do it in the kitchen and it's not well lit. A lighting kit can make a big difference. So, we'll add a link for that as well that you can pick up, just a good studio light. We also have a whole course right now on how to shoot headshots for your business, how to incorporate headshot pop-ups into your business, so that you can get more real estate clients. And that goes through how to light your subject using constant lights and flash and natural lighting. So if you haven't picked up our course yet, check it out. We've got a link down in the description below where you can sign up. We'd love to have you. But, anyways, lighting is huge. I did a shoot for a gal and we set it up. I had my lights in my car, but I was feeling lazy. So I'm like, oh, I don't really need it. And then I looked at the footage and I was like, let me go get my light. And I went and got it. And it made all the difference in the shot to have
mhm.
that light on her. So it definitely will up the level of production. If you're not going to be doing these outside and you go inside, if you don't have a light, just have them face towards the window. You want to make sure that light is spilling onto them as much as you can. So just use your natural
Yeah.
resources or grab a light and it'll help up your production level
Yeah,
for sure.
take a second. You're gonna have a lot going on in your head about settings and should I do movement in the shot. Before you get into all that, make sure you pay attention to your subject, look at your agent, and make sure the light looks good on them. If it doesn't,
Mhm.
like Rachel said, towards the windows, or recommend a different room with better lighting. And don't be afraid to say, you know what, the lighting is not great in here. They're not going to want to
Mhm.
be in that shot if the lighting's not great. They're going to want to
Yeah.
go somewhere else. So make your
You
life
have
easier.
rack tune eyes.
If you don't have a soft box, yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's tough too because a lot of times you're like, "Oh, let's do it in this room." And I'm like, "This room is really dark. Like, this is not gonna work." So, if you have that
Mm.
light, then you have the flexibility to do what they want, which just makes you more professional. So, and they'll appreciate that you brought a light to make them look good. So, you can even use a ring light,
Mm.
honestly, guys. It doesn't need to be super fancy. Like, just have something that you can bring that can illuminate your subject.
It's Yeah, that's true. So long as you can see them. I mean, you wanna see them, and you don't want them to have terrible shadows that look horrible in their eyes. Just like
Mhm.
Rachel said, if you have checked out our course, we talk about all this stuff, but is something else to consider is what you wanna do with those lights inside. Sometimes they're beneficial, sometimes they're a hindrance, depending on the color of the lights and how harsh the shadows are they're gonna cast on your subject and stuff like that. So you can have them on, you can have them off. You might want to consider those things. But we have other videos that talk more in depth about that in the course. So
Yeah. Awesome. What else do they need to know, Neil? I think that's it. I can't think of anything else.
let me think. So, yeah, video settings, if you're moving your camera, you're generally when you've got a talking video, you're not going to speed up that video. So you don't have to shoot at 120 frames. So, for example, if it's very dark in there, you would probably have to push up your ISO a lot to shoot at 120 frames. But if you're doing a talking head kind of thing, you can shoot at 24 frames. And so you won't have to push that ISO as far. So that's something to consider. Just don't forget if you're changing back to shooting the interiors and you want to speed ramp or slow shots down, you might want the 120 frames again at that point. But yeah, something to consider for that. What else? What else? We talked about mics, we talked about lighting, we talked a little bit about camera movements and stuff like that. We talked about selling it. Oh, let's talk a little bit about HD Photo Hub. So the other thing for delivery for these videos, if you're using HD Photo Hub like we do, this video looks really great in the website that you get in the marketing kit too. So that's another thing that I'm always telling my agents that, yeah, if you're trying to get some client, if this is an ideal listing for you, then we want to, blow it out of the park and get the video, get the stills, get the drone shots, get all the things. And then when you have that website, it's going to show the video there. It's going to show the stills there. It's going to look awesome. So that next time you go to a listing appointment, you show that thing off, it's going to be very impressive. So, and it also makes delivering it easy. When you have HD Photo Hub, it just goes along with the rest of the photos, and it has a link for them to, download it. It's dead easy to use. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
and they
I
can
handle
download.
delivery.
Yeah, they get the link that they can add onto the MLS. So when we deliver our
Mhm.
property videos with an agent intro, we do one that's branded that has the agent intro, and then we do one that's
Mm,
unbranded that does not have the agent intro, because you can't have the agents on camera on the one that's going to go on the MLS. Has to be unbranded. So you'll get the links
mhm.
that they can post on the MLS with HD Photo Hub, and you'll also get the MP4 downloadable video format, which that's the one you want to tell them. That's the one you're going to want to put on Facebook, because if you put the link on Facebook, when they scroll down the feed, they're going to have to push the play button to play the video. But if they add the
Right.
MP4, it'll just automatically start playing when they scroll down the feed. So,
Yeah.
and then the MP4 is also the same one they're going to upload into Instagram if they go that route, but they need to get it onto their phone. So if you have the app, which we have a awesome promo code, 33% off, I believe, for the app. Just tell them Shooting the Shit sent you, and you'll get that discount when you download the app. Anyways, the app is great because they can literally download the video straight from the app onto their phone and share it to social. So it's pretty amazing. So yeah, it's
Totally.
easy. HD Photo Hub makes everything great. They make my life so much easier. If you're not using them, check
Yeah.
them out for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure. Oh, and that's a
Yeah.
good point too, that we've been doing it so long, I kind of forgot to mention about branded versus unbranded. You do
Mhm.
want to have two versions of the video, and that's just because there's rules for these agents that they can't be in their video for the MLS posting. So it's important to take that into consideration for your edit, to make it easier on yourself, to consider that when you create your video, that make it easy for you to pull those parts out for your unbranded version. But also think about when you're filming, a lot of times some of these agents get the sign put up in the front yard before you even show up. And that sign also is marketing for them, cannot be in the video in my area anyway. So if there is a sign up front, I either have to avoid it in the video, but usually instead of avoiding it, especially because I'm doing drone stuff where it'll still be in shot and there's nothing I can do about it, I'm taking that sign down temporarily to do all my footage to make sure, because they will get fines and your
Mhm.
agent's not going to be happy. They might not even realize or know this themselves. So if you just give them a branded version, they upload it to MLS, they can get flagged for it and they can get fines for posting that version of the video. So you want to make sure you do give them both a branded and an unbranded version.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Well, I think
Mm,
that kind of covers all of it, Neil. But good luck, guys.
cool.
Get your agents on camera. It's fun. Honestly, I absolutely love that part. Coaching them through it is really entertaining and in a
Yeah.
nice way, but it's fun. It's cool when they get it and you're like, yeah, you nailed that. Like it also helps you to kind
Yeah.
of bond with your agents more, which is great. So
Totally.
if you haven't
Oh,
added it,
and don't
add it
forget, there's a
in.
great
It's a good one.
opportunity to get some behind the scenes stuff as well, which is pretty
Oh, yeah.
fun while you're doing
Definitely.
those kinds of,
Yeah.
that's what we do a lot. It's kind of fun. And again, it's a bonding thing that you kind of, you're there, you establish that you're there, videographer, you're a photographer or whatever, you're in that content, you share it on social, tag them in it, or, create them as collaborators. And yeah, it's cool. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and people always remember their first of things, right? So, like, the first time they get on camera, if it's with you, they're probably always gonna remember you. So, it's another good way to stay sticky.
Totally.
All right, guys. Well, have
I,
a great week. Go crush it. Get some agents on camera. Neil, stop laughing. I know what you're thinking. You almost didn't say it.
I have nothing to say at
Everyone
all.
always remembers their first, right?
Yeah, it's how do you stay
Okay.
sticky?
Gross. Okay.
We'll catch you on the next Shooting the Shit.
Later.